Steam billowed up from the friars of Pike's Place, a no-frills chip shop tucked between vintage workshops and craft breweries in Sheffield's Kelham Island. Mel Sterland sat at a formica table, dabbing at his right ear with a wet napkin. It was flaming hot, a leftover nuisance from an old heading injury in his playing days that flared up in damp weather. In front of him, another lump of his putty was taking shape as a miniature of the singer Roy Orbison, complete with his trademark glasses. On the table beside him sat a half-eaten portion of chips and an untouched fish cake. As he prodded some more chips with his plastic fork, Mel was startled. "That's not right!" A shout cut through the sizzle of batter hitting hot oil. The shop's only other customer was a man in a worn work jacket called Derek. He slammed his fist on the counter, sending vinegar bottles rattling. "I paid for a large fish cake and you've given me a small one. That's 10 pence I'm out of pocket. 10 bloody pence." The owner, Mrs. Pike, held up her hands nervously. "I'm so sorry, love. We've just run out of large ones. I was going to give you a refund, but you didn't give me a chance to speak. 'Cause you were harping on about a bag of roll plugs." Derek grabbed a wooden ladle from the counter and waved it like a weapon. "Everyone stays here till I get what I'm owed. And you," he pointed at Mel, "don't even think about moving. I've seen you on the news. You're that loose cannon detective. One wrong move and I'll flip this fryer lid." Mel winced as his hot ear throbbed harder. He slid his putty model into his pocket slowly, keeping his voice calm. "Easy there, mate. 10 pence is a kick in the teeth, I get it. I also used to lose my head when a ref made a bad call." Outside, Mel's driver, R.A. Waddilove, was wiping down the Steel City skimmer when he spotted Mrs. Pike peering frantically through the shop window and mouthing, "Help!" He grabbed his radio and called Imre Varadi, who was inside the hovercraft, dicking about playing Candy Crush. "Mel's inside, and there's a bloke with a ladle causing chaos," Waddilove said, already striding toward the shop door. "Whitehouse is on his way too. He just radioed saying there's a disturbance at Pike's Place." Inside, Mel could see Derek's hands were shaking. He wasn't dangerous, just pushed to the edge. "You know what?" Mel said, pulling the putty model of Roy Orbison from his pocket. "I once got fined for twatting a player in the tunnel that had been pissing me off in the match. But getting wound up never fixes a thing." Derek's eyes flickered to the putty model. "The big Orbison. My granddad used to take me to see him. Said he could sing anything." Mel nodded, carefully shaping a tiny fish cake out of spare putty and adding it to the model's hand. "How about this? We get you that large fish cake, plus 10 pence in coinage, and this putty model. Mrs. Pike here's already called her supplier. She says they're about to drop off a new box of large fish cakes." Just as Derek started to lower the ladle, Commissioner Whitehouse burst through the door with 2 officers, his face set in a scowl. "Sterland, I told you to keep out of trouble. Now you're being held hostage in a chip shop with a man waving cutlery?" "Calm down, Dane," Mel said, standing up and rubbing his hot ear. "Derek and I were just sorting out a misunderstanding. It's all fine now." Mrs. Pike chimed in, handing Derek a fresh, large fish cake wrapped in paper. "All sorted, love, and next time you come in, it's on the house." Whitehouse sighed, glancing at the putty model in Derek's hand. "Fine, but Sterland, your ear's bright red. You've got batter on your jacket, and there's putty shit all over the floor. Could you please start acting like a professional detective?" Later, the Steel City skimmer glided along the river as Mel sat at the bow, now working on a putty model of Derek. Ladle in one hand, fish cake in the other, and raging like a tit. Imre passed him a flask of warm tea. "Your ear feeling better?" Imre asked, grinning. Still hot," Mel laughed, dabbing it again with a flannel. "But at least I've got a new subject for my collection. Whitehouse is going to love this one. I might even leave it on his desk, you know, just to piss him off." Waddilove called from the controls. "Next stop, someone's been stealing garden gnomes from Encliffe Park. Fancy a go?" "So long as I can pocket a fish cake for later," Mel replied. "I can't solve all these demanding cases when I'm peckish.